years, our committee has been coming together to mobilize women and supporters on March 8th, International Women's Day. Like May Day, International Women's Day is a day born out of collective struggle for the rights of workers and the rights of all more than 100 years ago. It was inspired by the brave struggle of mostly immigrant women textile workers who stood up together against the discrimination and exploitation that kept them ghettoized and exploited in an industry infamous for its appalling working conditions, much like the workers of the GWG factory here in Edmonton, who will be recognized in a ceremony shortly here. Here in Edmonton, International Women's Day has been an occasion for women to come together as union women in the public and private sectors, migrant women, and many more women from different organizations and communities who are moved by a fighting spirit to defend their rights as women, as workers, and as human beings, and to call for a say in setting the agenda for a society and the economy that meets our needs and the needs of our families and our communities. This year on March 8th, we celebrated the outcome of historic elections in Canada and Alberta that brought in a premier, a woman who is as our premier, who has marched here with us on IWD and on May Day as well. We also saluted the efforts of countless women that contributed to stopping some of the worst assaults that the Prentice and Harper governments had planned on our rights as women, as migrants, and as workers, and on the public services that our families need and deserve. However, we know that many women's lives have not changed for the better since these elections, and many women's lives are even more unstable and uncertain. The root causes of women's exploitation and oppression remain largely unchanged. In fact, the dramatic drop in resource revenue has amplified the austerity agenda that characterizes all social programs and all efforts to advance people's rights as quote-unquote luxuries that we cannot afford, and especially those that would contribute to advancing women's equality. This agenda hides and devalues the vital contributions women make and heaps on extra burdens for women to hold together our families and communities in the midst of economic uncertainty and attacks on the services we need. It is in this context that our committee undertook the decision to transition from an ad hoc group that comes together on an annual basis to an ongoing organization that will work to educate, organize, and mobilize women from diverse organizations and communities all year round. We held our inaugural meeting just last week where we started this banner, and many of our members have been marching here with us today. We recognize the need for this new organization to create a space in our city to bring women together who are active in a wide range of struggles in their organizations and communities, who are fighting for their rights and the rights of all, including women working to call for justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women and for an end to all violence against women, to defend workers' rights, including migrant workers' rights, and to protect the gains that women have made through their unions, to address glaring problems of inequality, including pay inequity and systemic marginalization in male-dominated sectors, to protect the public services that our families need and deserve, to resist the austerity agenda demanding working-class people shoulder the burden of an economic crisis that we did not create, and to call for the supports that women need to achieve genuine liberation, including universal childcare and other fundamental reorganizations of our society, to acknowledge our collective responsibility for the caring work that working-class women currently shoulder as an unpaid or underpaid burden. Our fledgling organization is still finding its feet, but we invite you to get in touch with us and get involved. We are International Women's Day Edmonton on Facebook or Edmonton IWD at gmail.com. Next week, we will join the Fair Start campaign's Mother's Day events at Laurier Park. And not many people know that Mother's Day actually has an activist origin in women's anti-conscription, anti-war, and anti-poverty organizing, dating back to the Civil War in the United States. We hope that many of you will join us there to help advance the call for universal, accessible, affordable childcare for all. It's a call that is central to women's equality, and so that women can have the childcare we need to access educational and employment opportunities to reach our fullest potential. And even more fundamentally, it's a call that we must support in recognition of our collective responsibility for raising and educating the next generation, and in recognition that our society and economy can no longer depend on the unpaid and underpaid and generally undervalued contributions of women. We are honored to be gathered here with you today on May Day on this important occasion. And we look forward to an exciting year of building our organization, and we hope to have much more to share with you next year when we gather again on May Day. The women united will never be defeated. Long live International Workers' Day.